It's recording. All right, let's get after it. All right, welcome everybody. This is the Renaissance Exchange. We have another artist with us. This guy, he's out here killing the competition. He identifies as a graphic designer. He has his own clothing line named Regimen, right?
Nah, regime.
Regime. Regime. Okay.
That's not funny because people really be saying that. And I be like, nah.
Yeah, so that's good that we get to clarify that. We definitely
Yeah.
get to clarify that, And he creates super dope, super fire collages. He's doing this thing. I'm not sure if you dive into photography or not. 'Cause I seen a picture on your page with a camera, and I
Mhm.
wasn't sure if you do photography.
Um, at this point, I kind of do everything, Like I'm trying to have my hands in like all sorts of different creative stuff. Like, yeah, I'm a graphic designer, but the things that I do when when it's all said and done, it's a little bit more than that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna dive into that a little deeper. But before we go there, let everybody know where you from. Or before we even go there, I believe is elementary school. We went to elementary school together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
elementary, middle, been
that's
a
a
minute.
that's a fact. 136 for sure. That was years ago. Queens native. If y'all didn't know, I'm from Queens too. So yeah, we all have leveled up. Definitely leveled up. My guy from Queens. But yeah, let them know about like how was your upbringing? What was that like for you growing up in
um, I mean, I pretty much like born in Brooklyn. I moved from Brooklyn like at a very young age. Came to Queens, just kind of been in Queens ever since. Like my nationality in Jamaican, so um, that's really it. Born and
yeah,
raised
man.
Queens, New York. Mhm.
Everybody, almost everybody I know, that's not true. A lot of people are Jamaican in Queens. A lot of people. A lot of people. That's a fact. So what got you into fashion design?
um, I don't see. So the thing is, I don't really do fashion design. What I do is like it's graphic design, right? But I kind of just like see like people on Instagram kind of like using their graphic design skills to like make like quick and simple things like hoodies and like t-shirts and whatever. So I was like, one day I'm just like, yo, like I got this skill too. Let me try and see like what I could like kind of put together. So it's like I just released these sweaters. Actually, I got one on right now.
Yeah, I swear it was
Um,
fire.
it looks, bro. So I just released these. This is like my first official piece of merch.
Mm,
And I have like I like a whole bunch of ideas like pushing other stuff out, but like ultimately it's not just merch, right? Like right now it's merch, yes, like what I'm selling, kind of like putting out there, but I'm trying to do something or like real like music, like up and coming like independent music artists, where I kind of create like almost like aesthetics for them.
ooh,
So it's like it's not a record label, but it's on something where it's like people who are trying to be like artists who are like independent, up and coming, and they need somebody to kind of like point them in the right direction or like help them out with their creativity or kind of like their overall look. That's kind of like the lane I'm trying to be in when it comes to like what I'm doing right now. But like the shirt, like there's like shirts and like hoodies and stuff. Like I've been doing this for a while,
yeah.
so it's like I just released my first piece of merch, but like I want to do merch, but I don't want to be the focus to be merch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see exactly where you're coming from because I was looking back on your page and I saw in 2017 you had one of those shirts on already.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
so I see that you've been doing it, and I'm glad that you finally putting stuff out there because that's just another source of income for
yeah.
sure. So when you as you were sharing that, I started to think about John.
Hmm.
Do you know him? Do you
That's the guy from Shark Tank, I think.
Shark Tank, and he is
Made Fubu
the
or something.
founder of Fubu.
Yeah.
And the same idea that you're talking, that's how he started off. He said, well, based on my knowledge, he will have an idea and a certain design, and then instead of trying to well, there was no online market at that time, so he would go to the different music videos and stuff like that and try to get the artist to wear wear his clothing, but they didn't want to wear it at first. So then he started to give his stuff to the security guards, because the security guards were the ones that were interacting with the people, and subconsciously they're seeing that FUBU all the time, and because he made the shirts big, they would wear it all the time as well.
Yeah.
So that was his strategy. And then once he saw more and more security guards starting to wear it, then now artists like, yo, what's good? Like, I see you got this brand. Let me get on that. Let me get some shirts. So that's how he started to get in with the different artists, and then having them wearing on different music videos and stuff like that. So I'll definitely look into like how he created, well, what his creative process was, because that can help you with the trajectory of where you're trying to go, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I looked into Daymond John like a little bit here and there, but that kind of same approach where I'm gonna give out clothing to people that are gonna be around the important people, that's something like kind of like Virgil Abloh kind of did, where he kind of like he was like a designer for Kanye, but ultimately he would give all the merchandise he made out back in like 2013 when it was Pyrex to like famous people, and then people would see famous people in this, and then they would want it. So it's kind of like you kind of almost building your own culture within your friends, which is kind of like something that I want to do right now. Like I want to build a culture around my friends where people look at us like, oh, like they wear a regime, or they got to be like a part of that kind of like group or whatever, something like that. It's like kind of like what I'm trying to develop right
That's
now.
fire. That's definitely fire. That's definitely fire. So with collages, because you killing the competition with collages as well. I love the different pieces that you've put together. So what sparked that motivation, or that's just a part of your creative expression?
So like I started like I really had this whole idea probably like back in like 2013. Like I threw a whole bunch of different like names at the board, and like a whole bunch of like this regime stuff. Like surface level, it kind of seems like whatever, but like it really runs deep when it comes to like how I kind of like put everything together. But the collage thing is something I started to do, I think in 2018, because I was on Twitter, and this guy, I think his name is they called him Uncle Burns or something. And he was doing collages on Twitter, and he kind of like was like started the wave of like making collages and putting it out there. And then once you see him do it, you kind of like see a whole bunch of other people doing it. But like crazy enough, I was on Twitter one day, and then like I've been following him for a while. He had made a collage of Drake, and Drake's like my favorite artist. So that same day I'm looking at the collage, Drake had reposted him, and I'm like, oh shit, this dude's about to take off, right?
Yeah.
So Drake reposts him. This dude takes off, gets mad follower, and he just kind of just in the realm of like being like an underground creative person. So when it comes to like where I started with this whole thing, it's kind of like I looked at him to kind of see like what he did, and then that's why I started my thing. So it was like, yo, let me dip and dabble in collages, see what I can kind of do. And then I did that for like a year and a half or so. But then after doing it, I kind of like saw like, okay, well, you got this kind of talent. You kind of develop this kind of niche, and you kind of just go from there. But the collage thing was just like a stepping stone from like a place to like to start things. But then ultimately, once you start, you know, you just build and develop. And then now I'm kind of like doing the merch thing, and then who knows where else would be taken after that.
Absolutely, that's fire. So the one of the ones that stuck with me, because I'm a conscious listener. So, and my favorite rapper is Cole. I saw you had the collage with Cole. You created a collage with Kendrick and Meek. Those are my guys all the way. And then I started to you know someone that I know, and I haven't connected with her in mad long. It's been years. Jamila.
Oh yeah, that's my little cousin, bro.
That's your little cousin?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy, because she diving into the model industry and stuff
Yo,
like that.
I wanna do something with her next. Like I wanna do like a photo shoot with her next. But yeah, like
Yeah,
we really
that's what's
doing this
up.
out here.
Yeah, that's what's up. Because you had three. I wasn't sure, like, that maybe his joint, but that's
Nah.
family. That's what's up.
Like I'm trying to like I see her doing her thing, and it's just like, yo, if I could do anything to like, you know, just provide something to something that you do, that's what I'm here for. So it's like it's something creative and fun and like different, and then something that she could use kind of like, okay, say like I'm gonna promote myself this way. But you
Yeah,
know, I'm just kind of like have my hand in all kind of like different things just to see like what could pop. Because once something pops, it's like you bring everybody with you and you guys all build together. But that's
that's
kind of like how I see everything like right now.
it. Yeah, that's powerful. I love the fact that you have that mindset that if I eat, everyone's gonna eat.
Exactly.
Instead of you switching up and then you start isolating yourself and you're not showing love to the people you came up with. So I'm glad that you had that mindset, and I can see that you are destined for greatness. Just keep cultivating your craft. I'm
Or
I'm curious about your creative process. How does that work? Like, how do you get in the zone to come up with different ideas for your brand?
um coming up with ideas like inspiration is like my number one thing. It's just like I can't really create anything without being inspired. That's why I'm always kind of like looking for people online who are kind of like doing something creative, right? And then once I see what they're doing, it's kind of like, well, all right, how I'm gonna add like my touch to this, right? Like ultimately, I want Regime to be like an umbrella for like all creatives, right? So it's like no matter what you do, you could come to Regime and apply something that you do creatively, whether it be like photography or if you're like a rapper, you're a model, like any kind of thing that you do. I want you to say, okay, well, I can work with Regime to do this thing. But as far as the creative process is just, let me look at something, let me get inspired by it, and then, let me see what I could do, right? And not all ideas is going to be something that, I put out, because I have like a bunch of stuff that I have not put out yet because I just don't feel like it's ready.
Yeah,
But once I get inspired, I just constantly just develop. And once I feel like, okay, this is something that the world needs to see, I put it out there. Like this sweater,
hmm
I probably originally had this idea like for the way it's set up, probably like I'm gonna say like a year ago, and I kind of just sat in it because I was just like, what else can I do, or what else can I add to this to make this something that people want to gravitate to and like purchase. But I didn't really add much to it since like the initial kind of like creation of it. I kind of just like changed little things here and there. But once I came to a point, I was like, you know what, now it's time, just put it out. And now I'm at the point where like I'm ready to kind of like let the world see and let the world like get a piece like what Regime is.
for sure. That's powerful because right now is the time for materialization, like having
Yeah.
that idea or ideas that you had in the past and putting them into motion. We we can't just be in the stage of just planning all the time or oh I'm gonna do
Yeah.
this, I'm gonna do that. It's time
And
for action.
that was like one of my very first kind of like big issues. Like I would have a whole bunch of ideas, but like an idea without execution is like it's nothing. Like it's just something in your head until you kind of take it out, like how you see it or how you picture it in like your mind. It's nothing. You
Yeah.
gotta like you gotta make it tangible, something that somebody could like actually feel or see, and that that's it's a whole bunch of stuff going on right now. But it's all in development right now.
Mhm. That's good. That's called leveling up.
Yeah.
Leveling up. And I'm all about that. I'm all about that. I'm glad to see that you grinding for sure. For sure. So do you have individuals that like when you have these ideas, do you have a group of people that's in your team that you consult and show them, or you just moving independent right now?
Nah, I got a whole bunch of different like creative people around me. Like one of my best friends, his name is Taquan. He does graphic designing too. But he's more he does graphic design too, just like me. But every time I have like an idea, I go to him. I say like, "Yo, what do you think about this?" And he just let me know like, "Yo, like this is good. This is that." And ultimately, I just take whatever kind of feedback he gives me and like apply what I like. And then it's always like I just go from there. But it's always like something out like before I put something out, I always kind of like run it past him first, just because I like how he kind of like approaches his creative process and how he see things. So it's like before I put something out, it's like, yo, like bro, like, real quick, like just like tell me what you think about this, or like tell me what you think I should add. And I'm not saying like, I don't always like, like take like his ideas or whatever, but when I do like need kind of like that backup or that reassurance, I do go to him like, yo, like what do you think about this?
Yeah, yeah, that's powerful. Because you can't do it all alone. And it's good to
Yeah.
have multiple perspectives and stuff, especially when you're putting stuff out to the public. And even if you didn't, it's good to just go through a stage of reflection. Like, you know what? This worked before, this didn't work before. I'm just gonna take a risk and then put it out and see what happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do have to do that trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
But
But that's like that's low key with the collage thing, because it's like when I started doing those collages, it was just like, yo, I seen somebody else do it, and I was like, yo, maybe I could just try it, and then kept doing it, and kind of developed my own style. But now it's at a point where it's just like, if I didn't start at that one point, who knows where I could have taken it.
Yep.
So I see what you're saying. Like, just start it up, really.
Yeah, for sure. If you could collaborate with anybody, who would it be? Or if it's not a person, a brand.
So there's another dude that I follow, and this is like a crazy full circle story where it's like, remember the Dead Man Burns person I had mentioned him before?
Yeah.
So been following him since probably 2017, 2018. But then there's another graphic design dude who like makes clothing for real, like has his own production company and everything. His name is Cool Kai. So like Cool Kai is somebody I want to like work with, because he's like some young black owned business dude who kind of just like everything he does is just mad creative and just like mad different. He just really did it on his own. And like if you go to his page, you can just see him like, helping like a whole bunch of like younger artists that like, are trying to do stuff like him and kind of like develop things like him. But if it was anybody that I wanted to collaborate, it's got to be him. Like he's at the point right now where he got like different kind of celebrities just like, hitting him up with his merch. I don't know if you ever saw a company that people wear. It's support black colleges. It's like a hoodie out there, or like a black college hoodie.
Yeah,
People
I
know.
seen
A lot of people know about it.
some HBCU type of brand.
Yeah, it's like a HSBCU type of hoodie. Like he brought it to the point where it's just like everybody's wearing it. Anybody kind of like knows about it and they be wearing it. But if I had to collab with anybody, it would definitely be him.
And so we gotta give him a shout out. Cool Kai.
Yeah, you go. I think his Instagram is KOOL.KIY. He definitely somebody I kind of like look up to, and kind of like I kind of like see what he does, and I kind of like look at everything he got going on and say, okay, well, I could do this, and I'm gonna develop this, and develop this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But as far as brands that I want to collaborate with, I think Supreme is probably like one of those companies that I want to like collaborate, because even the name of my company, like when I was like kind of like just going through like different kind of like titles and like different kind of things, like ultimately what I wanted to be when I put my work out there, like how I want to kind of be presented, right? I want to be like the supreme graphic designer, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like Supreme has like a certain kind of like following and a certain kind of people that like the stuff that they do. But it's like, I'm an individual, but I like that. So it's like, as an individual, I want to take their approach to things and apply my kind of like perspective to it. And then it's like, well, like you got to think like my name is Randon, right? Regime is like something like art's kind of like in my family is like a big deal, because it's like a whole bunch of people like who names start with R's and whatnot. So it's like I'm telling you, this stuff, it runs a lot deeper than like surface level. But it's like in due time, everything will be revealed, everything will be shown, everything will be understood. But the name, ultimately the name Regime came from like an extension of Supreme, because it's like I'm kind of like putting my own kind of step onto Supreme, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes me think of, what's his name? Dapper
Dan.
Dapper
With the
Dan.
Gucci, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. And you see how quickly that can blow up,
Yeah.
That was out in Harlem, and then your territory is Queens. Make it happen. Get you a nice little storefront. I mean, regardless of what happens, it only happens with how big you think.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to get to a point where we're thinking as big as possible, regardless of if you reach that point or not. If you think 10 times or 100 times as big as you initially thought, you bound to get to 75, which is bigger than that 10. So
Yeah,
Yeah, so
definitely.
yeah, for sure. Real think big. And on that note, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And then I'm gonna ask 10.
So in the next 5 years, I want to be like a more established creative person. So it's like right now, people still come to me, just for like ideas or like kind of like direction of like what they're doing. So I don't mind where I'm at right now. I just want to be at a greater scale, working with like kind of like people with bigger followings later on in
Mm,
5 years. And then in 10 years, I just want everybody to like know the name, like recognize like what's going on. Like remember like when we was in high school, people just like wear kind of like different brands and stuff.
yeah,
Like I'm not worried about the people that like really my age. I'm worried about the people who are like 5, 10, 12, 13, 15 years old right now, because you tap into those young kids right now, by the time they like 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and they kind of like grew up with your brand, they kind of just see like what you've been doing. That's your audience, and that's kind of like, like where the bread and butter is. Because it's like people my age, like they like, not to say like was we old or anything, but it's like that time of like, like growing up kind of came and went. So I'm looking at the younger people like, okay, you guys are growing up now. What do you guys want to see? What do you guys want to do? That's why I thought of TikTok the other day. Like, I'm not posting no videos of myself in TikTok. I'm kind of just like using it as a promotional tool, because like young people on TikTok, yo. TikTok, I feel like it's like the next wave. Like I feel like Instagram might be done for, but it's not done yet. But I think TikTok is gonna like take over within the next like 2-3 years, slowly
wow.
but surely.
And you're actually right. I've been looking to, excuse me, expand my market um on different platforms, and TikTok is the one with like the generation X, Z, they're on there. So
Yeah.
you're right, you have to study that, and for business purposes, get on that platform for
Mm-hmm.
sure. So that's a power move. That's definitely a power move. Yeah, keep doing your thing. So I want to ask you one last question. Matter of fact, two. Um, with have you ever interacted with an artist and had what you perceive a negative experience? And if so, how did you deal with that adversity?
A negative experience with an artist. Like negative in like what way? Like we ultimately had like something that we was gonna collaborate on, and didn't fall through, or just like I didn't like the way they kind of like their work ethic, or like their approach towards things.
Both, or how they were
Both.
talking to you, like in anything you perceive as negative, because there's different egos that come into play when you're interacting with a certain type of artist, and then if they don't like the type of art you produce, now they're talking to you in a disrespectful way or not, something like that.
So I never like dealt with a person kind of like approaching me in like a way where I felt like they were trying to be disrespectful.
Mhm.
But I have had people kind of like, I created something for them and they ultimately didn't like it, right? But I don't feel like that's something that they have to deal with. I feel like it's something that I have to deal with, where it's just like everybody has their own perspective towards things. So it's just like I can create something and I could be like, yo, this is so fire. This is like the best thing in the world. But you might look at it from your point of view and be like, nah, this ain't it. Or like, this is not the vision I had for like, my creativity. So as
Yeah.
far as dealing with that, I never blame the person I'm working with, with how they kind of like, approach, how they work with me. I always kind of like put it on myself and say, okay, how am I going to change my approach? Or how am I going to kind of like, be the person, to be not be the bigger person, but be the person that's going to be like, okay, we got to get this done. Because at the end of the day, it's like we all bosses in our own right.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't sit here and say I'm going to put something not happening on the next person if I didn't try my all. So it's like I'm always going to try my all, bring my best foot forward, and give it all I got. But if something doesn't fall through, I never blame the person I'm working with. I always say, okay, well, like what did I do wrong? And then the next time I deal with that person or anybody else and that situation like that comes up, I just kind of like reevaluate, how I do things and how I kind of like, you know, approach things and see what can I change to say, all right, well, this is not going to go that way anymore because I know X, Y, and Z, and this is not how I'm going to deal with it. So I'm never blaming like a client or something.
That's powerful. That level of professionalism is going to take you to the next level. And then the fact that you're receptive to that corrective criticism, you know, because you're going to face that constantly because everyone has their own vision of what they want their identity to be or their image in public and stuff.
It took me a long time to like understand that, like, yo, like, because you like, as a person that's creating stuff, you just think like, yo, like, everything that you kind of say and everything that you kind of do, you just think it's right. But you think it's right because it came from your mind. But everybody's mind out there is different, yo. You can't be the person that's closed-minded and say another person's approach or another person's view on things is wrong. Because their view might not be your view, but it might be that thing that everybody else wants to see. So I'm always like open-minded and always willing to like listen and kind of like approach things with like an open ear and like let me hear what you got to say, pretty much.
Yeah.
Let me just hear what you got to say.
Yeah, that's powerful. Yeah, that's powerful. So do you have anything that's up and coming in terms of something you're about to release that you want to share with the public to keep them on their heels?
Well, I don't have anything I kind of want to say right now that's up and coming or I'm about to release, but you know, I feel like 2020 is coming to an end. It's been like a long kind of like stressful year, you know, different kind of like, you know, different kind of things like we all went through as like a country. But you know, I'm kind of ready kind of like for the year to end. I want to recap everything. I want to reflect. I want to say I like what I did with this part. I didn't like what I did here, and then start 2021 fresh, and you know, just everything I learned through this year, just apply to next year, come back stronger, and that's where I feel like things is gonna go up. Like this year, 2020 was like the play around year for me, where it was just like, yo, I'm just kind of gonna just try a whole bunch of stuff and see what sticks. But now that I see like what's sticking, what people like, you know, like people like, or like, you know, what people kind of see that I do when they go, yo, like that's fire. I'm applying the same kind of approach to 2021, but you know, I have more understanding now, and I feel like understanding is like the most powerful thing a person could like have.
Absolutely. Wisdom indeed. So I want to challenge you. Based on what you just said. So you've been reflecting and you recapped on 2020. As an artist, I am an artist as well. I want to challenge you to put a little bit more emphasis on collages for the end of 2020 for the end of 2020 and create a recap of how you perceive 2020 was in that collage.
I got you, bro. I'll fuck with that.
Before
so much stuff happened this year.
Exactly, that's what I mean. So, and I love collages. I love collages. So, I say create that by December 31st. It's 31 days in, right? Yeah.
Okay, I'll see what I can whip up. What I could kind of
you got time, and then now the public knows about it. So now they're gonna expect that. So now they're gonna go to your page and they're gonna see if you created that for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna make it pop.
Yeah, I mean, you destined for greatness. I see it. I feel it. I'm real in tune with energy, and you have that proper mindset to thrive and that entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, keep doing your thing for sure. So
definitely entrepreneurial spirit, yo. I had dreams of being an entrepreneur back when I was in high school, yo. Like, if anybody watches this video I went to high school with, go back and look in the yearbook and see what I put as my career choice. This was all premeditated. This ain't something I just got up and say, yeah, I'm gonna do this one day. It's like, nah, like I really got a good grasp of this whole thing, and I'm gonna just, you know, take it to the next level, take everybody that's fucking with me, you know, and just, you know, build it up.
Yeah.
Build it up from the bottom. That's it.
That's all you could do. So how we end with the Renaissance Exchange is with this last question. If you could be any animal, what animal would you identify as?
I'll probably be like a wolf or something.
A wolf? That's
Yeah, I'll probably be like a wolf or
interesting.
something.
Wow. Why a wolf?
I feel like a wolf. Wolves are good leaders, right? And like they roll in packs, but there's also those wolves that are like kind of like loners, right? Which is like
Ooh.
me. So it's like I could be the loner person, but ultimately it's like when I'm in my pack, I'm leading my pack as well. So it's just like it's like two sides to a coin where it's just like there's a part of it just is like, okay, you're a leader, but a part of it is like, okay, you're also a loner, but it's like, at the end of the day, you're just a wolf. So it's like that's how I kind of like, perceive myself, like, like in this world, I guess.
Mm.
Like when I approach things.
Yo, that's powerful. That's powerful. I love that. I love that. So everybody, I want you to tell everyone what your Instagram is, where they can find you. Let them know about your website and anything, any other gems you want to drop.
All right, so you can follow me at Gree GREE _DA VILLAIN.
I'll
That's my
post that.
Instagram page. That's all my handles on like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, like everything you try to like find me on. It'll be like Gree the villain, right? Gree _the villain, right? But my company stuff is going to be RGMEWRLD. That's all the handles for like, like my social medias. And then the website is going to be RGMEWRLD.com. And you guys can go there right now. Cop like merchandise or whatever. I got one thing up there right now, but I'm kind of like slowly kind of developing different kind of things that I want to like put out there. It's not going to be all clothing. Like I'm not trying to be like a person that's just like having a logo and stamping it on stuff and kind of like putting it out to the world. It's like I'm really trying to build a whole bunch, like I'm really trying to produce a whole bunch of different stuff and like have like a whole bunch of like different perspectives and point of views when it comes to just being like creative ultimately. And I want to shout out to Burns too, Deadmon Burns on Instagram and Twitter. Shout out Cool Kai, shout out Taquan Ty.ez, shout out my brother, shout out Mel's, shout out Don Mula. He be working with me too. He like real, that's my little cousin too. Shout out everybody, man. Shout out if anybody that's like, fucking with Regime and they see what's going on online, they see the vision. Shout out Wilmer. He's like one of my young dudes. He do YouTube right now. He's like developing his own thing. But nah, shout out everybody. What I want to do is just have everybody developing their own thing, and then like that thing, I just I help them any way that I can. But shout out everybody, man. Shout out everybody just like fucking with the vision, really.
Queens in the building. Queens in the building. That's what's up, man. I love the vibe for sure. You destined for greatness, as I keep saying. Much respect to you, man. We definitely gotta chop it up. We'll definitely chop it up off script. But
when you get the Queens, just let me know. We could we could just fuck around, just like have a meeting again. Just have like ideas that we bounce off of each other and just like build and develop different things. So
absolutely,
whenever really.
Absolutely. All right, I'll stay in touch, man.
All right, bro. I'm gonna talk to you later.
All right, one love.
Later.